Hi everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the drawing that we will be completing in today's video. If you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, before we get started, the only thing that you will need to do is download the color palette. I have it linked in the description below. It's totally free to download. Just go ahead and open up the file that downloads and it'll automatically import the color palette into Procreate so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the video today. So take a second to go and grab that and then come back and we'll get started. First things first, we will go over the canvas dimensions. They are 10 inches by 10 inches at 300 dpi. The color profile that I'm using is the second one on the RGB list. And for our layers today, we use about 10 layers by the end of the drawing. So that's about how many you'll need, and you can check how many you have available by looking here. If you need more layers, you can always lower your DPI here to get more. This is the color palette that we'll be using today. Lots of different pink variations. So the first thing that we will do is create the background. This will be on layer 1, so we'll leave the background color layer alone. So be on layer 1, grab the first color on the color palette and drag and drop that onto the screen to fill in the entire background with that color. On that same layer, we will grab this second color on the color palette. And for our brush, we will grab the soft brush under the airbrushing category, the one at the very top, not any of these other variations, the soft brush. We'll set that to maybe 30%, and we are just going to kind of drag this just in different sections on the background to add some variation, sometimes going off the screen on the edges. Just kind of in little blobs like that. And then let's grab this third color on the top row of our color palette and do the same thing. So this one's just a little bit lighter than our original color to add some more variation in some of these other spots. So you should have a background that looks something like this. Let's go ahead and add a new layer on our layer menu. And this is where we will draw our heart moon. So we are just going to go ahead and grab this first color on the second row of our color palette. For our brush, we will grab the monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. We'll just set that to maybe 50 to 60%. And we are going to be using symmetry for this. So first we're going to draw the bottom of the heart, and we want it to be rounded, so we'll draw a circle there. And then we'll turn on symmetry and draw the other circles and then connect them all to make our heart shape. So right about in the middle of the screen here, I am just going to draw a circular shape, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle, about this size, not too big. Go ahead and fill that in. Obviously this is not in the center, and we do need it to be in the center to use our symmetry tool with it. So go ahead and click on the arrow tool, make sure snapping is turned on, and then we are going to drag it towards the middle of the screen until we see this vertical yellow line. Might as well go ahead and center it all the way where you see both yellow lines, so it's perfectly in the center of our screen. Next, we will turn on symmetry. So let's click on the gear icon here under Canvas, turn on the drawing guide, click Edit Drawing Guide, click on Symmetry here, and you should see a vertical line. There are other options, so if you don't see a vertical line, you might need to click on it down here under the Options menu, Vertical. Make sure you can see your line, and then click Done. Next, we just want to be sure to go to our layer menu, and on this layer here with our circle, we want it to say Assisted. That means symmetry is turned on now for this layer. So same color, same brush, and we are just going to start up and to the right from our original circle here, and we're going to draw another much larger circle. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. Go ahead and click Edit Shape. We want it to be about this size, but I am going to have them meet in the middle like this, so they should all kind of intersect like this. So this will be the top of our heart, the bottom of our heart, and then we'll just draw some quick lines here to kind of finish out the shape, but you should see a good heart shape starting to form here. Just gonna make them a little bit smaller, about right there. So let's go ahead and fill that in. It mirrored it on both sides. I'm just gonna use my pen to fill in this other little part in the middle, like this, and then on our side here, I'm just gonna use the left side now, and I'm going to start right on the edge of our circle here, and I'm going to draw a curved kind of line, just barely curve it, hold it down, let it go, and then you can click edit shape if you need to kind of smooth it out so that it's nice and smooth all the way down, but we did want it just a little curved. If it was too straight, it might have looked more like this, and I just think it looks a little bit nicer with a little curve in it. Go ahead and fill in this other little area, and then even down here there's a tiny little bit that's not super smooth, so I'm just going to use my brush and smooth that out a little bit better. So now you should have something that looks like this, and this is going to be our moon. It's a little bit too far up the screen, so I'm going to click the arrow tool and drag it down just a little bit. But now that that is done, we can turn off our symmetry. So let's go to the gear icon and turn off the drawing guide. If your layer still says assisted here, click on it and turn off drawing assist. While we're on the layer menu, let's go ahead and click on this layer and turn on alpha lock. And now we're going to add some textures and stuff to our heart shape here to make it look like a moon. So let's first grab this second color on the second row. And the brush that we're going to switch to is the clay brush under the organic category down here. We are going to have that set to about 15%. And I am just going to lightly drag this all over my moon to really add some texture. And then I'm going to especially focus it on the left kind of side and corners and edges over here to kind of make that side a bit darker. Then I'm going to grab the third color on the second row and do the same thing, focusing on this upper right area here the most, but dragging some kind of more into the middle too to kind of spread out this variation as well. But again, we want to focus the highlights on this right upper part of our moon. Next, we will grab the fourth color on the second row, and we are going to switch our brush now to the splatter brush under the spray paints category. I have it set to about 40 to 50%, and I am just going to add some little sections of this also onto our moon to give it that nice texture. And I'm not going to drag it all over. I just kind of want to focus on certain areas like that. Now we're going to add some nice glow around our moon. So to do that, we will go to our layer menu, make a duplicate of this layer, grab the bottom one here. Alpha lock is already turned on, and we will grab our second color on the second row here, go back to our layer menu, and on this layer, click on it and click fill layer. So now you'll see that heart shape is now a bright pink color in the background. You can't see it with this one on top of it, but now we are going to click on this layer, turn off alpha lock, click on the wand icon, Gaussian Blur, and then we are going to drag this up to about 35 to 40%. And it did get pretty light on me, so I am going to go to my layer menu and just make a duplicate of this Gaussian Blur layer that we just made to make it a bit brighter and make it pop a little bit more. But that looks good. And then we can, with our layer menu open, we can slide these two layers together with our fingers so they become one layer. Next, we're going to add some stars to our sky. So let's add a new layer and drag it below both of our heart layers, above our background layer. we are going to grab this first color on the second row again. We are going to grab this third color on the second row, and we are going to switch our brush instead to this Flicks brush under the spray paint category. Let's set this to about 30%, and I am just going to kind of tap this all over the screen, kind of dragging it here and there, but also just doing some single little taps to kind of add some speckling of stars to the background. Like so. And then on the same layer, same color, we are going to switch our brush to the soft airbrush under the airbrushing category. So we are going to switch down to this one down here, soft airbrush. Let's set that to about 30%. And I am just going to draw some bigger stars now. So sometimes I'll just kind of tap my brush to just have like a little ghost of a star. Sometimes I will push it down further to make it a bit brighter and bigger. But I'm just going to kind of do a variation of these on the background. So now your picture should look something like this. Next, we are going to move right along and add the clouds in front of our moon. So there will be two different sections of clouds. So let's start with the first one. So we will add a new layer on our layer menu above all of our layers here. And we will grab this first color on the last row. And we're going to switch back to our monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. Go ahead and leave it wherever it was set at about 50 to 60%. And we are just going to start on the left side of the screen here, a little above halfway, and we are just going to start drawing some curved lines, hold them down until they become perfectly curved. And we're just going to do one, do another one, maybe a little bit smaller. Just kind of varying their sizes here and there. And I'm just kind of going in a down and to the right motion. And then on the way back, I am just going to kind of go a little bit more up and to the right. Again, kind of varying their sizes until we are off the screen over here. Then I'm going to drag this color and fill it below the line that I just made, like this. Now first we are going to go to our layer menu, click on the N on this layer and drag it down to 80%. And then to add a little bit more fun to it, we are actually going to use our eraser. Click on the eraser again to open up the eraser menu so that you can select a different brush. And I am going to select again the soft brush under the airbrushing category for my eraser now. Set that to maybe 15%. And I am just going to very, very lightly erase little sections of the cloud. I'm going to make sure to leave this line pretty crisp here, but I am going to maybe focus right next to it to kind of make a little circular shape like this, so you can see the really hard line of my original cloud, but then it kind of makes a little circle of a ghost to just kind of add some variation. And then I'm just gonna again work in circular motions on the rest of the cloud as well, all over. So it'll look something like this when you're done. Then we will add another new layer above this one. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to grab this second color on the last row. Same monoline brush, and again, we'll start on the left side, we'll start a little further down than our original one, and we will just do the same sort of thing. We don't have to follow the exact same pattern. In fact, like this one I might have go above our one behind, but you know, a similar thing where we will have some bigger ones and smaller ones, but just kind of doing a more random pattern so that they aren't identical. But again, keeping this one a little bit lower than our one behind it. Again, fill it in below. And again, go to our layer and we are going to drag this down to 80%. And then again, same eraser brush on the soft brush at 15%. And we are going to do the same thing that we did on our one before. So now it should look something like this. We just have one more step to complete our picture. We are going to draw some foliage in the front here to kind of finish it off. So let's add another new layer on our layer menu. Grab the third color on the last row and same monoline brush, same size, about 50 to 60%. And we are going to start by drawing some big kind of tropical looking leaves. So to do that, I am going to draw a curved line, hold that down. Starting there, draw a straight line back, hold that down as well. We'll draw a few of those, varying sizes and directions. And then I will fill those in. Next, I'm going to grab the eraser and I'm going to set my eraser now to monoline as well under the calligraphy tab. And we will have that set to about 50 to 60%. And I'm just going to draw some little kind of triangular little cutouts. Maybe some that are kind of longer and skinnier. Some that are shorter and squatter, like that. But just kind of draw those all the way up. And I will do that to each one of these. Something kind of like that. They don't look perfect, but that's okay. We're going to add a lot more leaves and stuff to kind of help fill this out. Next, we will add a new layer. And on this layer, same color, same brush and everything, I am going to draw some more little foliages. This time, they're just going to be some smaller leaves on a stem. So first I will draw this stem, kind of a curved line, hold it down until it turns perfectly curved, and then I'm just going to go all the way down the curve and draw these little like petal shapes off the side, all the way down, and then do the same thing on the other side, filling them in as I go. So there's one, I'll do another one over here. Again, I want it to be more of an arc than a straight line, but you could draw some with a straight line as well. Maybe we'll draw a small one here. And maybe one more big one back here. And then lastly, we will add one more new layer. And this time we'll just kind of do some like grass blade looking shapes. So let's just start over on the left side here, and I will just draw a curved line, hold that down. Start at the top, draw another curved line, hold that down, and fill that in. And we'll just make varying ones of these kind of all over, going different directions, different heights, different sizes. And some of them can even overlap a little bit so that we can really just fill the rest of this in. We can even have some that are kind of coming, look like they're coming from like outside the picture a little bit, kind of going off the edge, just to really fill it out. So something about like that. Go ahead and continue making these until you like where it's at. You can add more of the other ones too if you wish, but I am going to stop there. And that is it for the drawing today. So I hope you had fun. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more tutorials from me in the future. If you would like to share your drawing on Instagram, I would love to see it, so go ahead and post it and then tag me so that I can check it out. While you're there, go ahead and give me a follow and you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching!